Hello, Joe. Hello, chat. Hello. Hopefully, you guys are all doing wonderful today. Today has been a good day. I've got my water. Now, I know what you guys are gonna say. Oh my god, a hand trap. What happened to your hair? No. What the hell's on me? Oh, it's on here? Oh, it's my hair. Okay. I am absolutely excited to stream. Excuse me. I think tonight's the night that we are finishing Resident Evil. The residents are evil. And this will be the final game I play, chat. It's over. Hint Trap history is done. Happy birthday. It is just not my birthday is for not for an entire 5 damn months. Mew. It's been so long. I haven't streamed on like 5 days, guys. Let's calm down. That hasn't been that long. But chat, yes, if you guys heard me correctly, yes, this will be the final game that we are playing on this godforsaken channel. I have decided that it's over. The Hint Trap era of me doing things, it's done. We're done. We're not going back. I've made a decision. I thought you said that you thought it was my birthday. All right, man. All right. All right, my birthday, guys. For everyone who wants to send cash at me, $500 is on August 8th. Okay, guys. My birthday's on August 8th. All right, make it happen. So what we're going to do, we're gonna finish the game tonight, obviously. I'm hoping to get at least. I'm hoping it's like another hour left. Um, I don't know. Hello, King. Hello, my glorious Benji man. Hopefully everyone's had a great week. This week has been eventful. I've been uploading videos left and right, and I'm dealing with oh yes, we were here. What the hell were we doing last time? It feels like it's been like 11 decades since I last played this game. I don't know. So we are going to play Resident Evil in, or as I like to call it, we're gonna play Touch Me Resident Evil Until I Cry, because that's pretty much what the game has been doing for the last like couple of hours. And the game looks, oh my days, it looks crisp. A nice 30 FPS. So where do I go? That's the question. I don't even know. Oh wow, you know what? It does look different, especially with me changing my my stuff. So we're gonna go on ahead. We're going to enjoy. So I've had a lot of you guys ask me if I've ever played a Resident Evil game. So I'm gonna tell you this right now. I've never touched Resident Evil in my life. Okay, played 2 before, and that's it. I was interested in the series when I was a little bit younger, but other than that, where do I go? Where am I going? Do I not go in here? I don't think I'm going in here. Get near us? You know what, chat? What I really want? I've been craving some tacos. Like recently, I've had, oh my days. Oh, what is that? Oh no, not the. Does that say Stars? Raccoon City Stars. Who would this belong to? Stars? Yeah, Stars Raccoon Police Department. Star. I don't know who that belongs to. I don't think we'll ever know. And that's okay. But we are going ahead. I apologize for the late stream. I've had a lot to do today. So last stream, whoa. Last single player stream. Your kids will have fun solving this one. The fuck is that? So, alright, so let me explain. So pretty much, I'm not playing another single player game ever again on my YouTube stuff. No, not YouTube, on my streams. I've realized
Good lives needlessly lost.
with the Elite Star members. So, pretty much what I've realized is that in my current so all multiplayer? Yeah, pretty much. I've realized that I'm going back to what made me me. And what I mean by that, I'm going back straight back to Nintendo content. After that, that's it. Like until like until these wheels fall off. Turning in training For the new recruit, join Jill at the shooting range. Pick up the girls from soccer. Don't be late. Find that missing library book. Top priority. The librarian is about to blow a gasket. It looks like the captain checked it out last. All right, Captain. We must find it, Captain. You bloody mother. Wouldn't it just be raccoon? Oh no. I gotta go find it now. Well, the question is, how do I find it? Chat, what do we think? What do we think? Are we gonna be able to find it? I don't know, actually. But yeah, no, I have realized that realistically, I mean, I know some of you guys have probably enjoyed it. Doubt there's anything in there. If you don't check, oh, Leon. What's it called? I've realized that, if I, things are changed. Everyone's changed, and people aren't watching what they used to. And you know what? I'll be honest, I've kind of become boring. I'm not what I used to be. Everyone's kind of doing their own thing, and I keep trying to do like 5 different things, and I don't think that's helping my case of wanting to do this. So what do you do when someone's kind of boring? You kind of go back to what you know, and what I know is kind of doing Nintendo stuff. So you know what? Oh my god. Okay. And so I think it's a good idea for me to go ahead and do that. But yeah, so like this will be it. This is the series finale of single player games with Entrap. And variety forever. Like, I'm never doing variety content again. Oh, screw that. Oh my days. I hear it. I hear the clanking. Where is it? Everyone's got their streamers that they enjoy. And I just do not feel like, well, it's not even like in a condescending, depressing way. I just feel like I'm just I'm not what I used to be, So I kind of reluctantly, not even reluctantly, but kind of change that and get back into who I am. That's what we're gonna do, right, chat? I think that is a beautiful idea. I think that's great. We're just never gonna find this book, aren't we? Oh god. I hear that clanking. Oh, here. That's a really good spot to put it. I would have never found that. Alright, so where do I go now? Yep, come on, Leon. Leroy Jenkins. Alright, but you know what, chat? If you guys are just joining in right now, we're finishing up Resident Evil, and this will be the last game I play in my variety games. Like I've said, if you weren't here for it earlier, I pretty much have expressed you kids will have fun solving this one. It's where's this? Where's any of that? Oh my god, even the computers are older. Okay, so if it's here, right, then wouldn't it be around near where's the whiteboard then? So pretty much, yeah, no, that's kind of my identity going forward. I just feel like I'm all over the place. Things haven't been what they used to be. So yeah. But if you're interested, also, one other thing that I would like to say is that I am going to get rid of a couple of things. So stay tuned for that. Did it just? Oh, this is the downstairs area. Is there a? I don't know. We're about to see. Is there a? Oh, there's the whiteboard. That's just unfortunate. Let's see here. Do we even have it over here? I don't think we do. If not, this is gonna make me really. Oh, making me sad. Don't make me sad. Come on, guys, don't make me sad. Also, chat, if I have to get up and use the restroom, please forgive me. I've had nothing but water all day today. Today's been a very healthy day. Today has been a good, healthy day. All right. So where is it, Leroy? Show me, Leroy. Show me. Show me, boy. Main hall, press room. Ooh, do I go? No, I don't go to the press room, no. This is so sad. Sorry. Sorry. I know you don't feel good about that one, Leon. That's alright. Wakey, wakey. Oh, wakey, wakey. Did I already come in here? This is the West office. Yeah, what? Wakey, wakey. I need a key to open it. Okay. Okay. Oh. Here we go. September 25th. We are turning the shot. Oh, wait. I wasn't here. So then where's the TV? Isn't this where the American flag is? Because that's where the... It's right here. Locker key. A key with Jojo written on. Alright, chat. Give me 1 second. I gotta use the bathroom really badly. I shall return. Stay there. Don't move. And I'll be right back. Alright, chat, I have returned. Oh my gosh. Alright, see, I'm perfect. See how beautiful this is? We got the key, and now we don't even have to... Oh, what the... Alright, we got the key, and now we don't even have to, like, go searching for it now. Just like I thought. So I'm happy about that. Now, I don't think there's anything else we can do. So we're gonna go back there. We're gonna go say rest easy shoulder. We salute you, sir. And then we're gonna Fortnite our way over here. You know, alright, so in recent memory, not recent memory, in recent conversations I've had, I found out that there's actually a movie that I'm going to watch that actually apparently started the whole battle royale genre craze. So apparently it's from, guess what, chat? Japan. Ooh. The damn thing I'm looking for is downstairs. Why did I come up here? It's in the West Gate. Why did I just come up here instinctively? Strange. At least I'm not dealing with Mr. Fantastic over here. So. Whee! Alright. Yep. Come on, big boy. I'm a big boy and I gotta be free. Where the heck did it go? Honestly, I am interested to see the conclusion of this game. There's a lot that I've learned when playing. Hi, Unk. Hello, Sir Spunk. Hello, sir. Well, we are going to... Where is this thing? Good lord. Are you excited to see me finish the game? Your favorite series, Spunk? Was? Question. Go ahead. Speak your mind, sir. You planning on playing Orbitals? I will play Orbitals, but guess what I'm doing? I'm playing Orbitals by myself with my girlfriend. There's not a single soul. I'm not playing that at all. Zoo tickets. Enjoy. Don't say I ever give you anything. Yeah, no, yeah, sure. Zoomed. Yeah, that's. It was Raccoon City. That's what's up. You're asking Benji about it? Oh. Well, you know what? If Benji wants to, he can always play with the. Are you gonna play, sir? Orbitals looks like such a fun game. Oh, that's so messed up. That like. Is that Street Fighter Alpha? Is that Resident Evil 1? Mega Man? Oh my god, I just found the secrets, guys. Oh my god, I found the secrets. Oh my god. Street Fighter Alpha. Oh my god, guys, I'm a real gamer. I'm not LARPing the series anymore, guys. I found Street Fighter. I found Resident Evil. Holy, is that Street Fighter Alpha 2? And then Mega Man. And then wait a minute. So that means canonically that Resident Evil. How the fuck does that work? Hold on. That means that Resident Evil is canonically in Resident Evil. That therefore means that they played Resident Evil on PlayStation 1 in 96 and 98. But it therefore means that the events of the game were taking place while the game was happening. Okay, that's just insane. All right. Well, anyways, let's stop hurting my brain. Let's go. All right. You said because it's one of those games, one of those
Kennedy, reporting for duty.
That's what's up. What's it called? Because it's one of those one person buys and the other one plays for free. No, I want to play that game. I'm sorry. I have to. I'm sorry. I've got to see what that happens. All right. So before we start, let me start trucking it up there. 1, 2, 1, 2. Heave ho, heave ho. Come on, Leroy. Get up there, boy. Get up there, Unk. Yeah. Alright, I'm excited to end this game. This has been a very unique adventure. You know, honestly, guys, I've never realized, like, I've played more horror games because of this than, like, ever. I'm just like, you know, appreciate you guys for expanding my taste. It's still fuck Elden Ring, though. I don't want to play that game ever again. Alright, Spunk, I'm allowing you to backseat one time, and it's because I just do not know this puzzle. Truth be told, actually, well... Did I? I did it. It was the zoo. What? Is it? What? Why is it not working? I don't think this is a part of the story. Huh? Why is it? It doesn't work either way. Yeah, it's just loot. Oh, is it? Do we have confirmation on what it's called? Well, you know, if it's just loot, then okay. Is it any good loot? That's the question. They updated the game. I can do photo mode. Is it what type? Because depending on what you say, I might have to. Or is it a very good charm? If not, then we're gonna leave. Makes the requirement of have infinite peace and more damage on the last shot in the chamber. Hold on, did you say it makes the requiem have infinite peace? So what I'm hearing is I should probably go grab that, huh? Can you tell me what the thing is? I'm just gonna be honest with you. I normally would, but this is the one time I'm trying to get through the game. quicker I get through the game, quicker I delete everything. So I don't even know the last library book, so it's fine. Heave ho! And I know what you guys are gonna say. What? RRR? Are you serious? Okay, so every time I touch it, I might have to get a new. I might have to get the other controller. You know what? Give me 1 second, chat. I'll be right back. I'm gonna grab my other controller. I shall return. All right, chat. I've returned. Ugh. Just like the masterpiece of a Bollywood film. Yes. See, I'm glad that we're having this conversation, guys. Bollywood's good. So then how am I supposed to move it? Any that's easy. Wait, any that's easy is veggie. What? I see you're playing Resident Evil Requiem. Welcome back. Oh, thank you, King. It feels great to be back. I didn't go any. What's it called? I watched that film with a friend and went, oh my god, that's the hardest I laughed in a few years. It's such a good movie. It's such a good movie. I love RR. See? Oh my god, it's peak. Alright, and what do you have? Oh, Power Charm. Thank you, sir. Alright. By veggies, guys. I like vegetables as the next guy, but so is the final stream of all is this the final stream of all time? No. This is the final stream for single player games. I went back to the drawing board and thought about it. I like streaming. It gives me something to do. I get to interact with people, and I never leave the house. So I mean, it's either that or I go into like a mental institution by like the age of 25. So, after these like 2 or 3, if I beat the game now, yeah, it's over. Like, yeah. What games are you thinking? Mostly Nintendo. I'm not. I'm going to sit here and sugarcoat it. I'm not going to try and be something I'm not. So, I feel like I've been doing that recently. I feel like I've been kind of just like, oh, I'm just being someone else. That's not me. If you can find it, you would play Splatoon with me. No one has ever said they want to play Splatoon with me. That's insane. All right, Leroy. What are we looking at? The door. Who was behind that door? Oh, is that the girl? Oh, that is. I don't remember that. I might buy Mario Kart. Please enjoy. Oh. Oh. Okay, that is kind of depressing. The little girl's head that you just have right there.
Terminate. That's my fucking daughter.
Yeah, and well, there she is.
Cop. You're supposed to know something. How did this happen?
Prescription umbrella. Oh.
Fucking things.
That's the one game you can guarantee that. Yeah. That is true.
I'm so sorry.
Man, I'm not gonna lie, I feel bad for Kendo. This is
Never again.
oh my gosh. Why did he take it out like that? Alright. Heave ho, heave ho, heave ho, heave. I can take his shotgun. Being the kid in high school who had switched, basically, yeah, it did. Yeah, I did. That was me. Wait a minute. A leftover from Kendo's gun shop has a folding stock along with other custom arrangements. Oh my days. I kind of feel bad now. Alright, let's see. Is there anything in here? Mommy, did I do something wrong? Daddy got mad at me. He yelled, why are you here? Real loud. He didn't let me in the police station. I'm hiding with Mr. George now. He said, what did he say? I'm hiding with Mr. George now. He said we can get inside by the parking garage, but first we are resting. He's releasing. Mommy, I'll give him one of my kitty bandages to cover up the owie on his head. Oh!
Can't be.
Oh. Oh. So many hours would have been spent in better company. Dude, I wish I got into handheld sooner. Oh yeah. Like when you're alone, you just have it handheld. When your mother doesn't want to look at you ever again and says she wants to abandon you, got a handheld. When your family's going through it and they just want to give you away, you got a handheld. Don't miss out on the handheld, guys. I bought an OLED in 2020. What the OLED? No. Alright. So I'm glad that Leon put it together, because I'll be honest, I thought the same exact thing. Is this the little girl that died? I'm gonna feel so messed up if it is. Oh, man. Ooh, we've got more. Nope, we don't have more ammo. Dude, if I had the one, I would be before in early high school. Jesus, I would have finished all my work in class, so I would just could have been gaming. Yeah. Alright, so where am I going? Ooh, it's time to get the shotgun. Whoa. Hey.
Fuck me.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, man. Are you serious? Is this just like an every day in Leon's life? And now he's groaning, and the girls are like, "Oh my gosh," and I'm like, "Oh my god, Mr. Fantastic over here."
I couldn't save them.
Oh,
But I can stop bastards like you.
Mr. Aura Man. Oh, he's gone. Oh, what the fuck? Oh, now I can parry. Okay. Oh. Oh. Oh my days. He's just kind of looking at me. What the fuck? What is he doing? Oh, I don't like that. No. Sir, please back up. Please. Sir. Oh! You could always parry. Did he just hit me with a fucking car? I don't like that yelling. Wait, you said you could always parry? I just think it reminds you because you don't have to parry for like 10 times the fight. Yeah, I'm trying to realize that. Okay. Back up. Oh my god, he's gonna murder me. Oh, yep, someone... Okay, in his back, please. Stop resisting. Please, I'm sorry. Where the fuck did he go? What? Oh my gosh. I don't like the way that this sounds. Oh my god. Okay, What in the hell am I supposed to do there? I don't have any shotgun ammo. I'm gonna die. Get up. Gotta stun him with his chest before he jumps. Are you serious? Okay. All this lead. Oh. Yep. Run this chest area. Yep, there you go. Yep. Okay, there we go. Very stylish. I very much so agree, Leon. Woo! I'm trying to move. Leon, get up. Leroy, please get up. I'm gonna die if they don't. We will die if we don't. Come on.
Not yet.
Oh, come the fuck on. Okay. Okay. And now look at him. Why is he just looking like that? Just like, oh, okay. Well, you know, it's fine. I've got all my shotguns and I've got all my ammo and I got all my staff back. So now we have the nice stuff. Oh, wow. And so now it's a matter of just... Can I sell one of these? I can. I love how it just will not give me 0 for the Requiem. That's hilarious. Because I just know I'm just not selling the damn Requiem. Like, who would? I might be a little crazy, but I'm not stupid. Yeah, I'm sorry. Well, thank you for your service, Wallace. You know that means money, 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 money. That means things for me. Money, 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 money. That's still so messed up. That actually could be Zutter. Also, I learned that you can play any Switch game from any region if it has language switching. You can play in English. Wow. That even I didn't know that. Wow. All right. It's time to get cooking tonight. Don't tell me what I want. Don't tell me. Oh yeah. Yeah. Let's get this go over. Go ahead. Yeah, let's calm down. All right. Okay. All right, I like that. Ooh. Okay. Let's chill out, man. Let's calm down. Let's take it easy. I parried? Is parrying just dead or something? Like, is that like not a feature that matters or something? You parry before, not during? Oh, okay. There we go. Oh, you are? Oh, well, thank you, Swunk. Oh, yeah, there we go. Oh, I get the, yeah, beat him. Yeah. Put that MR for Indiana. Yes. Yes. Get him, Leon. Yes. Rip it out of his chest.
Die, you son of a bitch.
Oh, goodness, Leon. Such vulgar language. Oh! Oh my god, Leon, we're okay. Wake up, old man. Get up. I need you to get up. There we go. All right, perfect. All right.
Not yet.
You know, I'm gonna keep my shotgun ammo actually. It says I'm gonna keep my shotgun ammo. Proceeds to get screwed over by said shotgun ammo. Okay. Brother. What? For that to hit me of all things is like astonishing me. For that to hit me, I'm just like kind of like, what the hell? Oh my god. Did the car basically just keep running left or right? Okay. Look at him, he's just sitting there. I'm so far away. Dude, come on. No, piss off. Back up. Back up. Stop resisting. Thank you. Like, come on. Leave me alone. Get him, Leon. Stop it. Leave me alone. Oh my gosh. Yeah, let him explode from the inside out. Thank you. Open his insides. Yes. Goodness.
I'll stop you as many times as I have to.
That wasn't as quippy as I wanted it to. Move, Leon. Let's go, buddy. Anyone got some plans? The fucker blocked me. It's alright, Leon. There's something right over here for you. Got a recovery item just for you. Beautiful. It isn't. It's like just like crack. Is that ball like from something else? I don't even know. Whee! Oh, another meta inject. Alright. Come on. Let us begin. Let us commence forth. Alright. Leon has just this god awful walk. Like he just like, or he runs like an old man. Well, I say that as if he's not an old man. All right, let's go ahead and get that. You know what, Chet? I'll be honest. You know what I've been really craving? I might go get some more mac and cheese. I don't know yet. I want to go grab some stuff earlier, so but I might grab that in a bit. All right, so if I were to ask you guys like how close I am to completing the game, what number are we looking at for this? Pretty sure this hunch is from how he holds his gun slowly, just having to form his spine. Oh, well, I guess so. Ooh, the orphanage. This won't be my first time in an orphanage. It doesn't look like it'll be my last.
Made it.
Easy to. All right, it's time to call. Who? What's her name? Sherry? Charlie? Charlie?
I'm at the orphanage, Sherry.
Sherry, there you go.
Not much left of it. Heading underground to look for Grace.
Understood.
Let me go this way. You said I'm pretty sure that his hunch is. Oh yeah, okay. Oh. Spooky. If they make me do another damn puzzle, I'm gonna start shooting just things at random. HYD though? Hide? I'm gonna just say you said it. How are you doing though? Me? My gosh, Splunk is asking me how I'm doing? I've never been asked this question before. I am good. Just hoping to finish this game, and then after that, you know, just start doing things that I'm good at again. What the fuck? Leon, did I ask you to go? Oh no, this is Uh-oh. Uh-oh. When's the next YouTube video? I'm literally trying to... I have like 4 choices right now. Trying to pick the one that I think I can do a good job of talking about. After our conversation, I've kind of realized, like, okay, yeah, I see what you were talking about. Spitball them? Kindergarten Wars, Gushing Over Magical Girls, Kowloon Generic Romance, or Die Wagner. Wagner. It's a German. It's a manga, but it's in German, and I've been reading it, and I've liked it so far. It's got like 50 chapters, and I just, it is like the definition of like what I like about manga. It's like I don't think there's like much more I can say about it. Not gonna lie, you don't know any of those except Kowloon, and that's only because you talked about it. I love Kowloon. I can't live without Kowloon. Kowloon. This is not, no, Mr. Kennedy. This is no good, Mr. Kennedy. Mr. Kennedy, this is bad. Bad, Mr. Kennedy. Mr. Kennedy, this is horrible. Oh, Mr. Kennedy, this is bad. This is really bad, Mr. Kennedy. You better start running. Get those 55-year-old legs up. What in the fuck?
Seriously.
This is just gross. What the? What? You're not gonna fucking jump, are you? Dude, you are 55. You know what? Never mind. I forgot. What could Chris Redfield do about that?
I guess this is my stop.
And of course with the quips. Dude, he's just a powerhouse. Every time I can say Chris Redfield can't do shit, and then people are like, yes you can. What the hell is he doing against that? Oh. The hell is he doing against this? This guy's a unit. Dude's 55. The hell is he doing? I got scrap. Okay. I got scrappy lappy. Now the question is that shotgun ammo? Me love shotgun ammo. Alright, let's see here. Ooh, herb. Got the green stuff. Yes. I mean, honestly, even if, like, I'll be honest with you, Spunk, even if, like, if those videos don't do okay, I might just change what I'm doing entirely. I might just go into the thing that I've always wanted to do, but no, I don't know yet. Ooh, shotgun. Machine ammo. Uh-oh.
Say I left something behind.
Heave, hove. You think they're good now? Really? Well, I appreciate the honesty. Oh. Because I know if anyone would be honest, it would be you. Look at all these vines. Am I in a...
It just keeps going.
It does. Unless you're in a dry spot. I think there's a case that you could talk about remotely anything. I think it just is... For lasting stories? Oh, okay, yeah, fair enough. Dude is like... Okay, I really feel like I'm like at the final bit of the game. If I am...
Finally reached the bottom. This is one very deep hole.
And...
Perfect place to hide something.
Of course he would say that. You're on the road to the final section. Am I now? Alright, Grace! I'd say 2 hours. 2 hours left? There's so much more game for me to play. See. Back up! Back up! Stop resisting. Stop resisting. Guys, do you guys think I would be a great cop? You swap between... Oh, do I? Oh, no. You guys think I would be a good cop? You hate the Grace parts? I've actually enjoyed them. It's like very terrifying. Guys. This is the question that we must ask ourselves. Would Hentrap be a good cop? Oh, motherfucker! Boy! Get back! What the fuck? Why? You don't just shoot it, Kennedy. Okay, you know what? What the hell could possibly be down here? I'm actually kind of like a little worried. Like, what could possibly be down here, guys? Ooh, I got 1 ammo for my beautiful, beautiful, amazing favorite gun in the entire game. The Requiem, or as I like to say, the Rectum. The Requiem. Motherfucker. Kininam, where'd it go? Like, what are you... Oh, my God. Alright, you know what? I'm starting to really not like plants. Oh, my God. Fuck off. Okay, you know what? Like, I'm just gonna leave. No, I can't! It won't let me! Oh, I just don't like the sound. Oh, they're moving. I was going to say Mario Party at some point. That would be fun. Okay, you know what? Fuck this. Come here. Come here, fucker. Did it die? I think it's time to play for a new Mario Party game. Alright. What the fuck? Will I open up? Holy shit, I hate these things. Okay, these are annoying already. Grenade launcher. Nice. We're almost... No, we're not free. I'm not free! I'm at exactly where my grandparents are. Okay? Dude, what the fuck is this? Oh my God. Can I please get back up? Thank you. So these bastards are gonna keep trying to touch me, huh? Alright, well, I guess I'm the exterminator. You know what, Chad? I just don't like things with faces. I think that's what it is. No, you didn't, fucking Leon. I just can't even shoot them correctly. Just piss me off. Give me my plant. Defeat 43 seedlings. That was one of the achievements? Okay. Oh my God, there's more? Brother. You're out of your fucking mind. I'm not fighting that, am I? Okay. This is real nice. When I was younger, I'd have been ecstatic to fight a tentacle thing. And I was like, yes, I love tentacle impact. But now this, it can't be more. It's such an ugly fucker. That's the other problem. Chill out. Well, all of it. Where the fuck did you come from? I'm doing all this for a bag of fucking Twinkies, by the way. I literally have no reason to do any of this. Oh my god, I'm doing no parents. Oh yeah, just deplete the plant that is gonna keep on doing it. Okay. Okay, alright, this boss fight looks a lot more difficult than I am thought. Okay, oh my gosh. Is there any way for me to do this? No, okay. Oh! Okay, this boss fight is really difficult. Where the hell am I supposed to go? What am I okay. Let me just do this. Okay. Is the only way for me to attack this right here? Okay. And still nothing. What? What? Why? Okay.
Stubborn to me, aren't you?
You burned the entire thing. Yeah, that's beautiful. Plant 43 streams. They have names though? Since when did the plant... Okay. That was a strange boss. Honestly, I'm kind of confused on what...
This must be it.
Sherry, I'm going in. Still gonna be here, by the way. Just gonna play Pokemon. Yes, one of the best games for the Switch too. One of the best consoles to ever release. Thank glory to Nintendo. And there they are, everyone's favorite company, the Umbrella Academy. I hate to say it, but you're. Am I right? Oh, said it since day one. Even I could tell that this console was gonna be something special. It might be. It has, it might be the best console. I think especially since funny enough, is the cheapest. Yeah, I believe it. All right, Leroy. As long as we don't get kidnapped by a tentacle and we start making hentai, I think we'll be okay, man. All right, hello.
Sherry, I found some kind of massive facility.
What do you think it is?
I'm seeing supplies with the logos of the usual suspects.
The usual suspects.
Whatever it is, clearly wasn't meant to be found.
Yeah. You're telling me.
Oh, and the last bit of light, it's gone. Oh, am I playing who I think I'm playing? Found Ark. What the hell is Ark? Also, why the hell does my hair look like that? What's going on? Ooh. Welcome to the end games, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the final game on this godforsaken game. I mean, There's not a fucking another spider in here, is there? If there's another spider, I'm just done. Say swear. Swear there's not. I'll blow up this goddamn facility and Leon with it. Do not. Oh. Oh, is this the one like Mo? No? Okay, I'm just gonna say that's just not. Okay. Alright, I'm out of ammo. I'm low on everything. But the only thing I'm not low on is this Easter Sunday. I'm sorry. I apologize. I apologize to anyone who thought that was kind of insane. I understand. Is it Easter? It's Easter this Sunday. Dude, I'm so stupid. It's okay. It is Easter Sunday. It's gonna be Easter Sunday very soon. Why the hell would you do that, Leon? I know you're excited for Easter, Spunk. You ready to cut your Easter bunny cake? If they even still do those. Speaking of which, that just reminded me, I do have a cupcake downstairs that has my name on it. Alright. Go ahead and start typing, Leon. The semantics are different.
Where is that?
Oh, I forgot I changed her outfit.
Okay.
Pandora. Who the hell are these guys? Are these actual human beings? I refuse.
I'm getting the feeling I'm not wanted around here.
I'm going to refuse that there's no way in hell that actual human beings are going to want to fight Leon S. Kennedy. Out of everybody you would want to fight. Okay, so eliminate the elite guard. So these people are just naturally. So we're just naturally stupid. Whoa, let's calm. Hey, let's calm down. Found suspect. I will blow your head off. Do not test me. What the? Out of everything, what? All right, out of everything I've fought so far, I've never been two shot like this in my entire life. All right, let's try that again. All right. You know what? Actually, better yet, that's what we're gonna do. A little. Are you fucking kidding me? I missed? But like the fucker's not over here, like is it gonna die? He took how many fucking shots? He took how many fucking shots? To the damn chest. How many? Okay, well, alright. I was gonna line it up. I was gonna be like, sorry, no, motherfucker. I was about to blow his head off. Just. All right, let's try that again. This time, let's go ahead. And go on ahead.
I'm getting the feeling I'm not wanted around here.
Hey, you and me both, Leon. I'm just gonna keep shimmying. How are you liking these greetings I do for you? I'm loving them. I'm loving them, King. I can peek? Didn't realize I was playing fucking Fortnite. I didn't know I could peek. There's no way there's more people. It makes me feel seen, King. It's been so long since I felt so seen. Alright, thank you. Alright. So you want me to start blowing the heads off of these idiots over here? We're like, yes, please attack Leon S. Kennedy. We're so smart. Are you serious? We are so smart. We are truly the smartest species. Because yes, guys, it's a smart idea for us to start attacking Leon S. effing Kennedy. It's not even like they're under me, so it's fine. How the fuck? Where? Next one. Oh, okay. Boom! Boom! It's moving. Ooh, I was about to explode on him. Yes, I did just say that. I was ready to explode. All over him. How did he not fucking die? Hello? What am I supposed to do here, huh? I've got fucking SEAL Team 6 agents on me. Don't tell me I was gonna say, I have to go back to where I'm going. I was gonna say, oh my god. Oh, that's just nasty. That's just gross. "53-year-old man, by the way, just doing what he does best." All right. Oh, that's actually perfect. All right. Can we do the following? Okay. Yes, 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 and yes. And then can we? Yes. And then after that, can we? Yeah, huh? And then, yeah, okay. Sorry, I spaced out. Did you say 52-year-old man? Yes, I did say I got a 52-year-old man over here, and I've got to deal against SEAL Team X over here, okay? Dealing with SEAL Team 7 over here. They expect me to just be like, yeah, guys, I like it. It's like I want more. Like I'm actively saying yes, more. Oh, goody, yes, please. For me, no. Oh, motherfucker, die. Okay, isn't either Gramps is it the appropriate word? No, Unk is doing this at his age. I don't think 52 is like Unk. No, Unk. I just don't. No, I do think like 52 is kind of Unk, but like I don't know what they thought that was a good idea for him to keep on doing it. Maybe I should just blow one of their heads off. Actually, you know, no, we're gonna save that for the boss. Where's the others? Do I go down or something? You want me to have a moment to take out my favorite 9 favorite anime? Give me 1 second, because these guys are smoking crack. What the fuck? There's no way I'm fighting this guy, right? Oh my god. I'm not dying over here. Stop it. Right in the fucking head, yes. Where's that old fuck? Guy with the shield just... Alright, hold on. No, there's gotta be a way for me to kill him. What? I'm in this corner. I'm in the corner. No, please let me go. There's just no way. Come on, please. What is this? You know what? I don't know. I'm over here acting too cordial. Should blow your fucking brain out. For a second I did. I was like, are you kidding me? Try that. Oh, okay. So I just can't hit that. Okay. You know, I have an idea. I know where I'm going. Excuse me, excuse me. Oh, look at all these dead bodies. Oh, I can't leave. Are you serious? You know what? Get off of me. Thank you. Oh my lord. Leave me alone. Thank you. I was about to say, like, there's more. Alright, not my favorite, my 9 favorite anime. Well, my 9 favorite: Vivi, Fluoride Songstress, Guilty Crown. I've gotta for sure say, like, June the Plug.
Liquor.
Am I really having to fight this thing? Do I have to fight it? Down. Fucking hell. Amelia? Hey, how are you doing? We're absolutely finishing up
At ARC, your movements
the
will be constantly monitored. Do not leave the designated areas without authorization. The recording and transmitting of information is strictly prohibited.
Okay. Short. Dude, am I like in the final? This has to be like the final boss or something, because there's just no way. Let me think else over here. What are my other favorite animes? Like, I think it's gotta be like something that invokes emotion for me. Like, I know Vivi and Guilty Crown are just like right there. You want me to type them out? Oh, well, hold on then. Well, slow your roll, Buster. All right, let's see what we have here. CMT 500 Tyrant. Price is $120 fucking million. Production specifications. A humanoid bioweapon with exceptional combat capabilities. It can execute simple combat commands such as tracking and eliminating targets, and comes with a cost as standard for effective human disguise. Nemesis. Production specifications. Based on Umbrella Corp's Parasite NE Alpha, this mass-produced model focuses on cost reduction and performance enhancement. Repeated improvements have resulted in significant boosts to physical ability and recovery regarding of the host's durability. What is happening? I do not like you, Umbrella people. Umbrella might have to go. All right, so all this is telling me that I will need these things. Okay. A Gamma? The damn... Oh my god, did they talk about the dogs? 30 million. Umbrella's corporation Cerberus has been further enhanced and enlarged, resulting in increased combat capabilities. It can track and pursue targets at speeds exceeding 60 miles per hour. But I am doing great, Amelia. Hope you're doing well. Liquor. 14 million. Originally an infected anomaly, rigorous experiments reveal the key to activating the mutation, paving the way for commercialization. Product boasts enhancement and climbing capabilities and possesses sharp claws and a pointed tongue. Ugh. Plant. I'm skipping the damn plant. Actually, no, I shouldn't. A prototype bioweapon developed from a viral plant infection found in the Arklay Mountains in Raccoon City. An incident occurred during the transport of the experimentation Plant 43, and as a result, an infestation near the service entrance of ARC. Always exercise extreme caution when transporting bioweapons, or we could just stop making them. As previously stated, ARC is focused on bioweapon technology research and development, utilizing the unique environment of Raccoon City. In particular, experiments performed by infecting nearby zombies with the mutated T-virus strains have yielded a great deal of empirical data. This is also effective against the BSSA's attempt to eradicate the ARC. The development of a new bioweapon based on this hard drive is in its final stages. If said bioweapon released, we can expect further profit growth next fiscal year. ARC has now become a key bioweapon production hub for North America. It will continue to bring great benefit to both us and the United States. Dude, what? I stream. I'm more of a late night person, but I'm trying to get better at that. Now, I will say... How is this guy?
Not necessary. I'll neutralize the target myself.
Who's this guy? Are we really doing this? Hand to hand? He is 55, by the way, doing this. Who are you? Who is this guy?
Didn't realize I had such a big fan. How about an autograph?
I heard you were a smart ass.
What the fuck? He just ran away. Yeah, I don't know what you're thinking about. Yeah.
Not bad for somebody to get the door.
Death's door is crazy. What? Okay. Yeah, alright. I'm not gonna lie, that's kind of cool. Oh my god, he's just like destroying it in his back. Hello? Okay. Hey, let's all chill out. Okay? Calm down. Let's chill out. Why is he doing... Why does he keep doing that? The little... Oh my god. Oh my lord. Are you serious? I'm gonna die. It's gonna be because of the get. Back up. He's a freak. I see him. Okay. I'm gonna blow his fucking head off in a second. Give me a second. Another one? Bastard has lost his mind. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, sorry, buddy. Thank you. Thank you, Leon. But I do normally shoot my lights. I've been, yeah. Better. Bastard.
Ran into trouble. This guy was one tough bastard.
Coming from you, that's quite the compliment.
Alright, where do I go? Where do I go see? Who am I?
Nearby. I'm gonna finally get some answers.
Yeah, finally. For like 10 billion years. Leon, you're a part of the program. I did change Grace's outfit. What in the world is any of this?
Grace, this is where we are. The world is under threat.
From who?
The technology to control another's will already exists, but it's not efficient at infecting others. I believe Spencer solved that with Elpis.
With Elpis.
The connection sealed Raccoon City to save it for themselves, and it's been waiting here ever since.
Oh, I will start typing. Hold on. What does the creator desire?
This is as far as we could get. If the wrong password is entered, the Ark will be destroyed and Elpis will be lost forever. So tell me, Grace, what's the password?
What the?
I don't know.
Of course you do. You're the...
Leon!
Don't embarrass yourself, Mr. Kennedy. You can't beat me.
Oh. Why does he keep doing that?
Aren't we fancy?
What in the hell? Oh! Leon! Oh my god, they are. Oh, they are. Oh! What in the fuck? Oh my. It's got it. You know which one we gotta take out? Oh, and he's bleeding. Oh, okay. I'll kill myself. Grace, come up with something. There. Oh my gosh, Persona.
Right?
No, Elpis. What is that supposed to be? Leon is not gonna grab onto it, and this guy's a psychopath. What do you mean you grabbed onto this and then it went down?
I got you.
Oh my god. Alex? Oh my gosh. Is that Alex? The Aussie himself.
$1 million.
Hello Alex, how are you doing, sir? Hopefully you're doing well. I was watching the One Piece.
Take us.
Still mid.
Your guess is as good as mine.
I was gonna say, why would you ask him that? Lurking? Oh my gosh, no way.
Time to get off. Come on.
Hopefully you're doing well, sir. Oh my god, I just don't like the nastiness that comes to.
Leon.
Have you played the previous part of? I've never played Resident Evil before. What just happened to him? Bro just passed out. I've never played Resident Evil before in my entire life. This is my first time. Well, that's not true. I played 8 minutes of 2 on the original PlayStation. So, I'm good for something. October 9th. Wait, hold on. Have we been here for 6 days? For 3 days? I said 8 minutes. 8 minutes. It was 8 minutes. It was 8 minutes. Why? Horror games have just never been my thing. Grace, you wanna lock in for me, Grace? I don't think he's dead. Ooh, why his face looks like that? It's been one night? Oh, has it? Okay.
Leon,
Oh.
are you okay?
Unc, I need you to lock in.
How long was I out?
I don't know. A while.
Imagine if they kill, like, Leon, that'd be crazy. Talking about the most...
Stage 3 infection.
Stage 3. Damn.
You're so sick. Why would you come here?
To find answers. And save America.
This place. Raccoon City was where it all began for me.
Oh. Lore monologue?
When it all happened, I couldn't make a difference. So I am here now.
Yeah, I'm excited.
No.
He said something about you having a password. What was he talking about?
How are you doing, though, Alex? Hopefully you're doing well, sir.
I'm sorry.
How's life been? Hopefully, I remember the job that you had, sir. We're straight out of uni.
I'm going back. I'm gonna destroy Elvis.
I'm coming with you.
No, it's too dangerous. Life is the same. Nothing has
No
happened.
regrets. Whatever it takes, count me in.
If anything happens to me,
Tell Ada.
promise you'll end this.
What the hell?
Promise.
There's just no way. That's insane.
Come on.
Ooh, now I'm playing Grace. Thank you. I don't even have a gun anymore. Oh, I do have a gun. Is that Tello? Dang, everyone's up now. What have we got going on?
Look, there's a door over there.
Well, how the hell am I supposed to get on that, Grace?
Blocking it though.
That's very true. But I'm happy to hear that, like, life has been good. Life has been the same. I'm happy to hear that, you know, soon we'll be ending all of this last bit of
I can check it out for us.
the
You
single.
can give me a boost.
Guess we're about to find out.
Leon is such a funny man. Ending all of this. Henny, what? Oh, did I worded that way? My bad. I'm not dying, guys. We're ending the single player stuff. Look here. No more variety hen trap, alright? Variety trap is dead. We're sticking to one thing and one thing only.
Watch out for yourself up there, yeah?
I will, Dad. Alright, so it really might just be over. Oh, well, there goes Ankh. You know, I think it's fitting that the first game I'm going to play and the last game I played were both horror games. Actually, that's just not true. No more variety? Yep, nope. I'm playing one thing. I'm not playing. Like, I will not. I refuse.
Go down. There's no getting back up.
Is there a way for me to do this? Oh no, this is one of these, huh? Oh, did you ever get to play all those games I recommended? I'm going to assume you're in referencing Uncharted. I have a friend who has Uncharted. I have not started or begun the journey just yet, but I will on my own time. I'll be honest, you guys have given me some great recommendations. I'm very happy. Do you play any other games? Name 3. What do you what
System
what
lock. Override key required for
What-
reactivation.
what do you mean? What do you mean? Name 3 characters. The name what? Like I said, I have yet to play Uncharted. I'm going to, but because my friend has it, but I do not know if I'm able to play. But of course, you have Nathan, everyone's favorite glorious King Nathan Drake. If you want my answer, so it's fine. Oh hell no! They have a typewriter down here. Guys, I'm scared. Oh, Leroy, please save us. There's a.
Okay. Just beyond here.
Okay.
Warning. Threat level orange. Confirmed in storage sector. Critical error. Containment lockdown failure.
What? Oh, heck no. Alright, see. Oh, not a liquor. Oh, I don't want to fight this. No. This bugger, no. Oh, my days. I don't want to fight it. Oh, it's sad. Chad, I don't think I have it in me. How the fuck are you live? I was about to say. That would have pissed me off. I was gonna say, I burned a whole damn thing in you and you just don't die? That actually would have frustrated me. I'm like, so you just don't die? I was gonna say, you gotta stop doing that. Oh, hell no. I did not ask for this. Guys, you know what I need you guys all to start doing? Pull up. Pull up? What do you mean pull up? What poll? I don't have a poll. What poll is bro talking about? That was one ugly bugger. Poll is up? Oh. How ass is Hintref? Guys, stop. No, you know what? No, this is AI generated. No, what is this? How ass Hintref is at playing games? Why are we at 14 for it could be better? And 4 for really ass. You got... Oh my god. Guys, I'm not that bad. I'm pretty good. You know, you guys, it's just because you guys haven't watched me play off stream. That's your guys' problem. I play a lot of games off stream. I game often. Well, not as often as I used to, but I do play pretty well. Oh, how these are all clickers, aren't they? Bro, all these things are alive. Oh, fuck off. I don't want to deal with it. You know what? I like that 80s that could be better. Thank you, guys. Thank you for believing in me. Can I not make... Oh, my days. Are you serious? Oh, fuck. Go. Spent 95 points on it. Thank you. Could be better, makes me happy. Alright, can we please? I just need this guy to start getting burnt. How many more bottles can you guys give me? Bottle of acid. If you break a bottle that contains oh. It's effective on the liquors. And liquor, wiggity wick. Let's go ahead and kill that liquor. Man, you should go ahead and just... You don't see me, right? Of course you do. Why did I think differently? Motherfucker! Are you serious? Okay, because I was about to say, no way. Guys, I'm not bad at gaming, okay? Like, honestly, the way that I game on stream and how I game here are, like, two different things, okay? Like, cut me some slack, alright? You know what? I'm pretty good at game... I'm pretty good at gaming. I promise you. If you were to ask anyone in my personal life, they would tell you I'm a pretty good gamer. I kid you not. You can ask my girlfriend. Ask my friends. Well, friends, I don't know. You can't ask people. Oh my god. Is there nothing I can use for this? Brother, where do I go for this? So what's stopping me from being on here? Delay. Because there's a lot of delay when playing on stream. Since I stream through OBS, there's a 1.5% delay. And I tell you, that delay makes all the difference between like winning and losing. Also, how do you feel about having about his life back in 2008? What are you talking about? The only one I know of is Billy Bat. I love Billy Bat. Billy Bat's not 2008, is it? That'd be hard. Oh, this is grass. This is grass. All this glass cracking. Okay, where do I go? Damn, 3 years is crazy. I'm not gonna lie, guys. You guys have been following me for like so long. Like some of you guys like are probably like husbands and wives. Like, anyone here married? I know you are, King. Haha. I know Alex probably has like a family of 5 that he feeds on the daily. You guys are all. It's like you guys are like older than me. It feels like. All right, let's see what we have here. Let me try. I think I'm younger than you. No, Al, you're older than me. No. Most people in here are actually older than me. I don't know why. Like, what's it called? Tello's older than me. Most people here are older than me. All right. Yeah, I was gonna say King is like 26. I know you're around like 23. And then Tello's 27. Yeah, everyone's pretty up there. Can we figure I was like, can we please like figure out a way to This is my first message with 24. You did unfollow us a joke. That is right. Yes, it's probably like 4. Damn. I don't know what this is. Anything? Let's see. Yes, you can keep cracking glass. Keep on cracking. Dude, this also needs a key reader. Is there nothing else here? The chemical storage maybe has something? Yeah, honestly, you know what, guys? Hold on. Let's all drop our ages here. All right, I'm 22. All right, I know the rest of you guys are like pretty older than me, so like I don't even know why we're gonna go ahead and have this debate that like you guys are younger than me. I know you guys aren't. Oh, come on. Oh, there it is. That's what I'm looking for, huh? What do you mean you're 21, Alex? What do you mean? What do you mean, man? Yeah, you can eat my ass, I'm sorry. 21. You guys are surely just jesting me. When you guys aren't 21, you guys are... No way Alex is younger than me. What? Bro has a whole... What? Bro looks like a macho man.
I'm not dead yet.
Let's not even joke like that. Don't even joke like that. Alright, what are we at? An hour and 42, chat. When I tell you it is starting to come to me, it is coming hard, man. I kid you not, I'm just like... What? Wait, why is it not... A power activation key. It should restore it to the dumper... What? I was about to say this section is so shit. Why are you smoldering? Because I'm trying to see where the hell I have to go. I'm trying to figure out what's going on. Okay. Clickers everywhere. Or liquors or whatever. There we go. You smolder when you can't sit. Look. Yes, I do a little bit of that. All right, Leon. Dog, I'm looking at. I think we were actually doing a tier list, and this is an actual quote from me. Bun's a good character, but his wife looks tough, so he can't be on the list. And Vegeta saved anime. Hey, and you know what I probably said? I said you guys are on crack. But the Bond, I understand. Bond, I do get that. Now, Bond, I understand. Okay, I do think Bond's a good character. Where the? Do I move this? No. What? Holy, Luffy overall is a better character than Guts, than just different. They're just different characters. Luffy's more comedic, but he has so much depth. You're saying Guts is better because he went through. Oh, this is horrible. Oh my god, that's rough. I'm not gonna lie. The clicker's still in there, isn't it? What if I stun it? You guys think it's a good idea for me to stun it? Look at how ugly this bugger is. Oh my god. Yeah, keep the old server, bro. I'm not keeping it. Stop it. I'm not. It's not happening. It's not happening. There's so many. Yeah, no, it's not happening. Ha ha ha. You guys better get used to it. There really is no point. There is a point. No, it's called. We need new head of the center refining center. Imagine if One Piece took a break before the final and everyone would be caught up and it would be a big reveal. I do remember that. I do remember you saying that. Dude, I still don't know why you don't keep it. Just make it so no one can talk in there. No, no. So much history on that server? Yeah, no, I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry. King, I'm sorry. It's gotta go. Then just make this the new server and keep this one? No. Everyone's getting out of that other server. I'm sorry. There is no up for discussion. Where the hell do I go? Brah. I'm sorry, guys. It's better for you. It's better for you. Hold on. That's level 2. That's level. Where the Past Me is an asshole. Dragon Ball is more globally celebrated than One Piece. Guys, it's okay. Let me at least forward all the OG messages and virtually. I don't even mess with Dragon Ball like that. You know who you were probably saying that to? Wasn't doing a tier list? AK. Because if we remember, I feel like everyone forgets. Like the old Hentrap memes. It's gotta go. It's all getting deleted. Or Crusher? Oh, well, yeah, Crusher. That's the name I haven't heard in many moons. And I forgot on your last nerve. Interesting that you would say that. Interesting that you would say that. Okay, what am I supposed to do here? So I'll go through the archives. Trying to take the real elevator. Okay. There's no elevator for me to take. Because there's nothing for me. There. Oh my god. No, it would be down there. Oh, the key. Like, I completely forgot about the key. Yeah, Crusher, I haven't heard that name in many moons. Yeah, it's been a long time. That's what I needed. Yeah, I was like, where do I go? Oh, the magnetic key. Ooh. I kind of wish I could just make the other thing, but I can't. I mean, guys, do we miss the anime debates? Do we miss the anime debates? I mean, also, guys, why do you guys want the server the same? What's wrong? I thought we were all in agreement of it last. I thought we were all in agreement of it last week that it was cool for me to do it. Now all of a sudden it's like, why? Read Oshinoko manga, yeah, when it was good. Shit.
You can do this.
Oh my god, I'm gonna die. Did I read it? Yes, I did. Hey, let's calm down. Let's calm down. Yeah, there we go. It's cool for you to make a new one and have a transfer be there, but keep this one. Just let you know, ending could have been better. Ending could have been better. Ending could have been better. No, hand on your shoulder, King. I'm sorry. The old server is done. We have to. We're not preserving Hintrap history. None of it. I've expressed why. You know, guys, I'm boring. I'm Unk. What is this server? No. I've decided to make a new server. I'm boring now. All right, and I can accept that. I am not what I used to be. Okay. So, how do I change it? We change server. I'm changing because the old server that I had, it was nice, it was cool, it was fun. You know, we could all like laugh, giddy around, but you know what? Honestly, I think it's a good idea for us to come together and... What the fuck is this? If it's the Discord, yeah, nuke it, yeah. I think that's a perfect idea. I 1000% agree. Did she just fucking stab me? See, I'm glad that King, you know, I'm glad that you can not King. I'm glad that you see that for what I'm saying. You know, because I appreciate that. Oh hell no, I'm leaving. No. Because I think it's time to just go on ahead, get rid of the server, and we have something different. You know. I mean, I don't even have to say anything. I mean, just go ahead and type a one little word in that search bar, and you'll see exactly. Like, oh, it's bad. It's fine. It's gotta go. Alright, I kind of want to stop streaming as it is getting closer to 2 hours. Because I have... What the fuck? One in the red room? Am I like... Oh, the panel's right here. Umbrella! Naruto gets too much hate. People don't really appreciate it. If that's... What is it? For the shit that you did, right? How the hell did that... Yeah, you were... That's you, buddy. You were defending Naruto.
Threat level red in storage. Sector. Rebooting AI control center. Noah.
Oh my god, can we not do this?
No.
I'm gonna start making... So what I'm hearing is pretty much... Yeah, you just need to go ahead and just make a bunch of these, huh? You sick bastards. Defending Naruto in 2021 is insane. Oh. I'm so cooked. No, don't make me go in there, please. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Before you go, type the 9 out with the legendary penny that grants him wealth, fame, and power. Okay. Yes, I will make sure to type the 9 out. Don't worry about it, I will. You really want to know? Well, then that's the case. You still listen to Juice? No, no. 10, 9, 20. Thank you. What's it going? No, me nowadays. If I were to show you my playlist, you'd be like, "What happened to N-Trap?" What happened is that I found who I realized that trying to be hard was just not it for me. You want me to show my playlist? Come on, Alex. Come on, Alex. You don't want her to see it, do you? Come on, guys. You guys don't want to see it. My playlist is just... Honestly, my playlist is like from when I was a kid. I just like rediscovered that. I was like, man, I had good taste. Like, I mean, it's a lot of... Look at Tella just saying these things. It's like... Fuck, how do I even talk about it? It's like K-pop. Like, I grew up on K-pop. I grew up on some, like, really... Is this not it? Is this not it? Oh my god. Oh my god. Like, stuff, you know, like, you know, I tried being hard. You know, I can admit that I was kind of like... I was rewatching one of the earliest streams that I've ever had, okay? And I had realized how, like, I was just... Like, there was no reason, like, honestly, looking back, there was no reason for me to stream as early as I did. You think Juice WRLD is hard? No, it was, come on, no, I'm not even talking about Juice for a second. I'm talking about the music that I was listening to. Because it wasn't just Juice. I had, like, Quando, Rondo. I mean, chat had me listen to Quando, Rondo, 21 Savage. You know, I had Gunna. I had problematic music in there. Okay, I would be for real. Your taste was ass then, and your taste is ass still now. No, my taste then was just like, it was kind of cringe. I get you. I don't like it. I mean, I think honestly, like, cause what's it called? I did, and I don't know why I did this for an opening stream. I played, what's it called? Toxic Humans. I played Toxic Humans as like one of my streams openings, as if that's not an unreleased song. Yeah, we were listening to Polo G and like we were like, guys, Polo G's tough. I had to wake up. I couldn't do it anymore. Like I like honestly, I look at myself then I'm like, dude, you were smoking something. Like whatever I had back then, I need now. I came up in a fantasy film as the name was Crappy Cinema, Melancholy Telling. What? Are we making music? What's it called? No, when it came to music. Okay, should I just burn the bastard? I kind of want to burn him. Oh hell no, I'm not burning him anymore. Never mind. I'm just gonna. All right, this is a little annoying. There better just be two. If there's a third one, I'm just gonna close my eyes. I'm gonna say speed save me. Polo G was good at the time. Yeah, we used to argue all the time if Polo G was good or not. And how the fuck am I the one? Okay, you know what? You guys are... Everyone needs to go. How the fuck do you know I'm here? How do you know I'm here? How do either of you know I'm here? How do you know I'm here? There's 3 of you? I still remember you being a Rudius defender. Hey man, we all change. I still enjoy Mushoku Tensei. There's 4 of you fuckers? Let's...
Control center. Noah. Reboot failure. No response.
sometimes sometimes we change. Sometimes we still enjoy media that we.
Containment protocol inactive. Containment protocol inactive.
What does this mean? What's it called? I mean, hey, you know what? I think being a rudiest offender is better than being a I almost said chainsaw man. We also did. Yeah, I think all of us were. We all did. Yeah, from PDF to here.
This is it. I did it.
I think. Are you fucking kidding me? Dude, do I have any bottles? Can I make anything? Oh my gosh. That was the point of the story. That's exactly... See, I said that, and then guess what I got called? People should... Okay, so we can Okay, I'm glad that you can understand that, because I said that... I said that, and I got looked at... You would have thought I had just, like I said, I was gonna go after, like, the Queen of England. Like, it was just like, how could you say that? But... It's okay. It's like... Yeah, but yeah, and I 1000% agree. There is a line. And I do very much so agree with you. And bro, he did. Snot fan? Who is Snot fan? Is that Fear? Bro, there's no way that Snot fan is Fear. Bro, what do you mean who is Snot fan? Bro, I don't know. Bro, I don't know who Snot fan is. Is this Caltrap? What the fuck is happening? I just do not. Okay, yep. Just keep digging in me, man. Okay, you know what? Fuck this. Get me out of here, man. I'm so tired. Get me out. JJK is peak. Oh my god. Oh my god, it's Painski? Holy shit, there's no, it's Painski. That fucker's not right behind me, is he? Brother. Okay, yeah, no. Not at all. No, it's Fear. I know who it is. Hi, Fear. How are you doing, sir? I was like, how the fuck are you gonna still chase me? What? I did. What's it called? There's only one person who I know. Yeah, see, I was listening to Snot, Juice World, Gunna. I had like 2 young boys, so I was a problem. I was an issue. Like, oh my god. I was like a menace to a little shit. That's what I was. Oh my gosh. I was a big problem. Oh, like, now, like, really thinking about it, like, what was my issue? Oh, hell no. Like, generally, like, what? I had no business listening to the artist that I was listening to. Like, honestly, like, what was there? What was there for me to gain?
Still have a ways to go.
I honestly, like, now that, like, I think about it, I don't even know. Alright. Well then, alright, is this, like, the big twist? And then after this, I think I will, like, take it easy, like, pause it, like, right here. What does she even have in... Didn't your mom have one?
Something important. I'll explain later.
Does she have the other one? Oh my gosh. The creator letters from Patrick? What is any of this? Oh, hell no. She just figures out her mom just, like, created, like, a biohazard weapon and just made, like... Who the...
Shutting yourself away in a dark room like this is quite the change for you after the life you've led.
You said tonight? I am.
Unexpected turns, don't you think?
Looking back, do you feel that the choices you've made have contributed to your present circumstances?
Of course.
Send the invite ASAP?
What you sow, you reap.
Good take, right? Yeah, that's just fair. Yeah, that's fair. Here's the only one who says it right after every sentence.
Spencer,
Lord Spencer?
what would you like the world to know?
Hi, Fear. How are you doing? I still got my plays, even now and then I add some songs.
But
Nah, you guys don't want my playlist now. I'm different.
before we begin, Miss Ashcroft, I'm not a young man. I don't have the energy I once did.
Yeah, I know. You guys will be okay. Is that AIM? AIM? No, you guys are getting the server tonight. I've got a lot to do. A lot of things to implement. A lot of bands to do. Grace. AM? Like, AM? What do you mean AM? Like, for like, an artist? That would know. Mr. Leon S. Kennedy a few minutes earlier.
Okay. Back in biz.
You alright, Leon?
I'm different, guys. I have evolved.
Grace cleared the way for me.
I am different.
That's not what I'm talking about. Your body can't take much more.
We'll be okay.
Settle this. You just sent us a chopper for immediate evacuation.
Oh, yep, and I finally got I've got like my big boy shotgun. I am different, guys. I have changed. Honestly, like looking at my earlier streams, like I just kept like I did not realize, and like it's kind of crazy to think about it. I just like how? Oh brother, earlier streams I was going back through my earlier streams and I did not realize how much that N word I just love speaking. Like, oh. I'm a what? Man, the way my speech just sounded, I was like, I was just like, what are you saying? It's like, bro, like, I was just not.
Over there. Easy.
You don't even save streams? I've downloaded a bunch of my streams. Hold on, whoa, hey, let's go though. I'm not a cop. Boom, ooh. Yep. Yeah, it's time. I'm sorry. What's it called? No, but most of the times for me, I've saved all my earlier streams. I have them. Like I have my first stream. I have my my Demon Slayer streams. Hasley is reaching his limit. Bring back milk takes? No, we can't bring back milk takes. I'm sorry. Listen to this and you'll understand. What's it called? Leon is why is your top clipping a clip? Like okay, yeah, that's just fair. I have none of mindset that you should is reaching his limit. Certain birds of coughing and bird visual calls him the defaulter. He can only wait for these to be subsided. Okay, can we not do this? Just clips? Yeah, no, I always keep my stuff together.
Oh, shit. You gotta be kidding me.
No, I'm very different. Like, honestly, looking at, especially, like, because I do have the rapper tier list saved. I want to let you guys do know that. I do have the rapper tier list saved. And going back, I'll go through it from time to time, and I'll just look at just how I'm talking. I'm like, man, N-word, like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, no, Juice WRLD's the GOAT. And then I glaze him, and I start talking about, like, Snot, and then I start glazing him. And I'm like, bro, now I said Young Boy is shit. And then I'm like, dude, Dexter's better. And then I was like, man, and then for a time, I was saying that I loved 50 Cent. I was like, brother, I was saying 50 Cent is good, and I was just like, oh my god, clear problem. I said Dexter was good. I had a problem. Like I said, I'm just glad the music I listen to now is a lot of what I listened to when I was younger.
Security threat detected.
Oh.
Elevator shut down.
No.
Effect. Override key authorization
If
required.
you're giving me the ability to have that. What if we were talking about how much I love Young Thug? Like, dude, I don't even know a Young Thug. So like, come on. Said Playboy Cardi was good. Listen to I unironically had what's it called, Metamorphosis on my playlist.
This must be the room.
When I tell you I am like astonished. Do I really have to fight these people? If I have to, then fuck, fine. Oh, I have to, huh? Okay, well, that's fine. What do I listen to now? A lot of the stuff that like I used to listen to as a kid. You can like two things, man. It just... It's not what aligns with me any longer. Oh my god, back the fuck up. Where did you fucking go? Back the fuck up. Oh my gosh. No, but honestly, I also did realize that like me listening to like certain rap artists made me act a certain way, like around certain people. Like I'll be honest, you know who I give all the credit to for making me like change. I give it all to my girlfriend. Okay, she generally is like the reason why I went back to like start like listening to like more of the music like I used to as like when I was younger. Cause like before I was trying to be so cool. Like I was like, oh, okay, you know, I gotta listen to these rap artists. I gotta do this. I was like, yo, this is all tough, bro. Like I'm phone up. Like I literally like saw a mess. Like I literally saw a message of myself talking to one of you guys, and pretty much I was just like, oh my gosh, like oh, I was like on God, bro. Like we finna get lit up to Juice WRLD tonight. Hello? That's not even real human speech. Like oh my gosh. Dude, I was cringe, okay? Like, guys, let's just... I was not human. Oh, I could have gone down? The game, what made it go? Oh, I just was not going to go down. Unless someone has ammo for me. You ever betrayed me? Juice WRLD is good? I'm not saying he's not. No. I'm not going to say that, but my life has... I very much so. Oh my gosh. Please. Back up. Back up. Back up. What's it called? No, but I will say this. I mean, do I listen to Juice WRLD time to time? No. And I feel like that one Kanye song. See, like, I unironically listened to Kanye. I had a problem. No, man. You guys do not miss the old Hen Trap. You guys do not want the old Hen Trap. Old Hen Trap was a problem. Old Hen Trap was a loser. That guy sucked. I kid you not. Looking at my older streams, man, he was a piece of shit. Okay. Old Hen Trap. No. 2022 Hen Trap? No. You guys don't miss that. No. No, I don't miss that. No. Genuine pro... Damn, one shot just blew his little... It's entire... Nothing wrong with the old... No. See, you guys... I've progressed, alright? We do not regress here, no. Old Hen Trap was a problem. Dude had, like, the worst, like, talking about rappers, calling people out of their name. Generally, like, a weirdo. Like, that guy was the problem. Like, I like, what's it called? That's why I just think it's time. It's time for a new beginning. That Discord server was nice, but, like, it's okay to change, guys. It's okay to have change. Rapverse wasn't even 0.5% of the content. Well, it made up for a good bit of it. I'll say that much. I mean, between that and then like, it was a plethora. I mean, a lot of the content I was talking about was rap related, and everyone would be able to watch a rapper and listen to Quando Rondo and all these other rappers and stuff. I was just like, oh my gosh. Like, generally, I was doing reaction videos, and then on top of that, you could barely even understand me because I kept slurring my words. I think nowadays it's a lot easier to hear me because I'm like, I actually talk like a human being. Before I was pretty much cooked. Like, I'll be honest. Hey, this is called reflection. You're getting older. This is good progress. Exactly. And one thing is that guess what? And you know what? One thing we're reflecting on. Guess what? That was really bad is the server. So therefore, we got to get rid of it. Thank you for you guys all for coming to my TED Talk because it's happening. Ooh, more ammo, my favorite. Yeah, no, that was no. Old Hentrap had a problem. Old Hentrap might have been a little bit freaky. I mean, now I'm better. I'm better. My hair looks great. Actually, no, it doesn't. And oh, hell no. Leon, I just log it. It was like 30% reactions. 30% debates and 10% collabs. Oh god, don't get me started on those collab days. Those fucking sucked. Any collab I did was just so butt. Oh my god. How the fuck? Okay, you know what? All of them were. Man, I miss when you watch videos of what I said. Guys, you guys do not miss reactions. Reactions were so shit. Come on, guys. Those were bad. Those reactions weren't good. None of them, all of them were kind of just like, I'm not gonna say all of them were not genuine, but like, come on. A lot of them were just like me reacting to like either A god awful video, or like B, like, not saying your guys' videos were bad, but like, it was okay. It wasn't like, oh my gosh, guys, like, I'm excited, like, oh my god, let's go. My favorite streamers watching.
Warning, autoclave compromised. Pod lockdown unavailable. Memory corrupt. Self-repair functionality offline.
Who do I have to murder?
Air thermometer warning. Pod lockdown
Oh my god, are you?
unavailable.
Is yours? It was mostly Crusher sending anime videos with Dragon DBZ videos. Like, I can admit when I'm wrong, and that, like, I think that era was just cooked. I think yeah, you know what? Damn, 2 in a row in consequences. Okay.
The elevator will arrive shortly.
All right. I just think, like I said, guys, that era was just, it's kind of rough.
Has arrived.
It's not what it used to be. But it's okay, because, you know, we've lived, we learned. And then on top of that, we are just never gonna, never again with the reactions. Never again with a whole lot of stuff.
I can't waste any more time here.
I hope, I think, honestly, I think this new era of Hentrap is good, guys. You know? Wouldn't you guys rather see me at over 100 plus viewers than for 2? And well, I have the new PC. Leon is dying. Like, everything I'm doing right now is streaming off of this new PC, so it's kind of crazy that I can, like, game on the PC and, like, play it to you guys. And honestly, it doesn't look bad either. I think that's the crazy part. But I also think it's because of the way that I have things going. Oh, yeah, Leon's, like, dying. Oh, well. It's over. So, let's see. Oh, that T-Virus is getting them. Play FIFA, man. You want me to play what I'm about to go watch in, like, about 3 months from now? Come on. Guys, name 3 players. You can't say you got Yamal, you have my Glorious King Mbappe, and then you have my favorite What the hell? Do I go this way? No, I guess that's where Grace is gonna come out of. Then you have my glorious king, Mr. Hat Trick himself. Mbappe W? Yeah, come on now. Yamal! Yamali! We're ready. Our glorious, what? You know who I'm ready for? I'm ready to see France win it all. What the fuck is happening? Where's Ada, man? Ada Wong, where are you? Where are you? Alright, Grace Ashcroft, am I? Did you ever do a GeoGuessr stream? I've never done a GeoGuessr stream. I could do that. I don't know. I think that'd be pretty mid. You guys think that'd be fun?
What kind of legacy do you want to leave behind?
My research opened Pandora's box, unleashing disaster upon the world.
Except Elvis.
Do you Americans have no geographical skills?
A blind hope.
Okay. It's because he said that, I'll do it.
Cannot predict
Even if you're overseas? Okay.
why they have hope.
Okay. I got something for you, Alex.
I was wrong, and I am plagued by guilt. Happiness cannot be achieved at the expense of others.
Even if I went overseas, that's crazy.
I think that's enough for today.
Why did you accept my request for an interview?
You got something cooking? Yeah, I do.
Is that one of your subjects?
Good luck.
Of course not. She was alone in the world. I took her in to make amends.
Well, I'm going to end after this, so...
Perfectly normal. Just an average child needing a home. She is my hope.
Is she adopted?
Aren't you beautiful? Would you like to hold her?
Okay.
Are you serious? I'm 20 minutes from the ending? Oh, really? Damn. I guess it'd be bittersweet if I ended it tonight. That's insane.
What's her name?
Don't you dare. Oh, is...
Grace. Is there anything else you'd like to tell me?
I've said my piece. I only hope it serves as a requiem for those who have passed.
He said the title! He said the title! Chad, he said the title! So Grace is adopted. Glory to the foster care system, right, guys?
Leon.
Why did she say Leon? Ugh. Oh. Oh, it's black. My favorite. I like black blood, right, guys?
Hurry, need to hurry.
You want me to go to Leon? Mr. Leroy! Oh, wait a minute. There's a bottle of acid. Mr. Leroy, the story? You don't want me to let it go. What in the fuck? Oh, it's just like before. Oh my god, the girls are gonna be in here, aren't they? Oh my gosh, okay. So pretty much the story is 30 years ago they nuked all of Raccoon City, and now oh my god, Dada. That's his fucking chair. Oh my god. And Grace, say hi to Daddy. And nope, she's just not gonna do that. Okay. She's like, oh my god, Dada. Alright, so pretty much story is 30 years ago they blew the entire
This is finally my chance to do something.
they blew up the entire effing city of Raccoon City, okay? 30 years later, some guy started investigating it. Pretty much like, oh, we want to take control of like some mind control stuff to save America. All right, some real Western interesting sense. Okay. Say it again. Are we are some kind of Resident Evil Requiem. All right.
Hey, it's me.
I need them to stop groaning, man. All right. I know the girls are like, oh my gosh, like, oh. I can do that too. I can play that. Oh, my girlfriend. Oh, yeah, I can do that too.
I was just resting my eyes.
You're okay.
Bro's getting too old for this.
Let me help you.
The residents are Requiem.
Let's do this.
Okay, so is there not even a final boss? I'm guessing there's not a final boss or something, right, guys? You're telling me the residents are evil?
I don't know the password.
It's okay. Soon left it wide open for us. Any wrong code will do. It'll destroy Opus.
So you're telling me the evil...
Whatever it takes. I can buy you some time.
No. No, I have an idea.
What is she going to possibly do?
I trust you. I trust you.
Alright, it's time, guys. This is it. The finale. The finale. The finale.
The prodigal daughter returns.
Prodigal
I
daughters.
know the password.
Fulfill your destiny, and all will be forgiven.
Only if you let Leon live.
So I think, yeah. He just threw the damn smoke. Okay, are you serious? This room reminds me of the room that is in Stellar Blade. Imagine if she actually gets the password. I'm gonna be able to say fuck. What does the creator is that? What the fuck is the password? Well, guys, whatever happens here, I want you guys to let you know that I had an amazing time streaming. These last 4 years meant something to me. Whatever happens tonight, it's been a good time.
I was wrong, and I am plagued by guilt.
Anyone want refunds? I was literally about to get my stuff.
You promise you'll end this.
Please know that you are my hope.
What is this?
Is my hope
What is the password?
a blind hope?
Okay.
So if I get just like, does it matter what happens? Like, is there a different ending for both?
This is it.
Oh, it's loading. Oh, is this like... Well, I do have like a different save. So like I saved right before. So I can...
What did you do?
Oh my god.
What I had to.
Also, we're all just gonna die.
Rex, get out of here!
Oh.
Right behind you!
What are you doing? Come on!
Do I just get the, like, the bad end? Did I done killed Leon S. Kennedy? Oh, yeah, I don't know what the fuck you were thinking, buddy. I'm sorry, Leon. You're cooked. Oh, at 55 years old. Why are you still here? Oh, he is getting, oh my days. Oh my God. Oh, bomba clot. Oh my mazami. Oh. Yeah, they're cooking the shit out of him. Leon, get up. Why are you screaming like he owes you money? You just met him tonight, Grace. What the fuck? For the BHS? Does Leon really die?
At least I could save you.
They killed Leon S. Kennedy! Leon is dead! Oh hell no, it better not rewrite my save because that's crazy. Oh hell no. So is this evident that I got the bad ending? That's crazy. They killed Leon. Did I really get the bad ending? Don't do this to me because I don't want to have to replay the entire damn game. At least I could save you. Did I really kill Leon? Fuck! There's no way. I just killed Leon. Oh my god. Oh my god. I just saw Leon Kennedy's brains get blown out. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Chat, I want to thank you for the last 4 years of my life. It's been wild. 50-year-old man let him? That's crazy. No. We can't let that happen. That's crazy. Damn. So I'm really almost done with the game, and then after that, it's over. We have officially run its course. Wow, it's crazy. That's insane. Even I didn't think that was the case. This is wow. Oh, you know what I just realized, guys? Hold on. You know who we got? You know what? Who I have to text. One of our community members should be in Japan right now, guys. Oh my gosh. Can you please stop talking as if you're not streaming anymore? Well, I'm thanking you guys for watching me. Okay. I want to give a moment as these bad ending credits are actually no, I'll wait. White guy with the name Leon, bro, deserves it. We're hating on Leon S. Kennedy now? What did bro do? Also, hold on. What do you mean refund? I drank my water. Hayden. Start typing, sir. You can type them out. I promise. I can't type them right now because game won't let me move them. Gifted them points. Okay. I promise you, King. It's easy. Guilty Crown, Vivi, Fluoride Songstress, or just Vivi Songstress. I love that anime so much. Another thing that I've been reading that's really like captured my heart has been Real. I waited nearly 3 hours. Okay, I could. Oh my god, I could. Bro. Oh, okay. Hold on. Bro wants me. Why do you want me to type this out so bad? This is rough. And then no one talking. No one's talking about Vivi anime. Like, if people are, I love Vivi anime. Okay. Has to be anime though. Damn. I'm trying to think of an anime that like left a long lasting impression on me. Oh. I know what. All right, I'm gonna put this one on here. Don't mind why it's on there. If I had to explain them, some of these, okay, like the first three for sure, but I need filler. I need some stuff in here, and I don't want to be a basic guy. All right, I'm sorry, I can't sing. Oh, I love One Piece. I love Attack on Titan. I'm not weird. Oh, Pluto's a good one. I actually did like Pluto. Because I'm not about to put Villain Saga. What the fuck do I look like? 15? Where am I at? 3, 5. Put whatever I like. No, whatever is your favorite. This is messed up that I really killed Leon, by the way. Like I just want to say, like, for the last Magi, Magi is, you know what it is? Well, I like the anime for it, but I never read the manga, but I could put Magi. Magi was great. Oh, hold on. Not a damn soul knows the one that I just put. Yeah, I actually do like that one. Yes. Glory to Calhoun. I love you. I love you. I love you, Korea. Not Korea. I love you, Hong Kong. Oh, I just put them on there. Hold on. 1, 2. Wait, was it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8? Oh, I'm just missing one. Wait. 3, 6, 7. I'm missing 2. Because now I gotta really think about this. If anime has one season, put what season? Overlord? Damn. Now, as a kid, I liked, oh my god, I liked the Asterisk War so much. I liked the Disappearance of Haru, no, the Melancholy of Haru Suzume. Oh my god, Plastic Memories. Wait, Calhoun? God, dude, Calhoun Generic Romance is like my favorite. Is one of my favorite mangas I've read. It's so good. Oh my god, the anime was fast, but it was so good. Oh my god. But the problem is with the anime is that it adapted 12 volumes and like 12 episodes. Blew my fucking mind. But it's so good. It's so good. Oh wait, why am I making this hard for myself? I can just Gundam. Man, I cannot believe that they just they just murdered Leon S. Kennedy. And then what even Deep? Dude, I grew up watching that. If I pull out Ladies versus Butlers, you're gonna be like, whoa. Let me think. What's one that I really liked? I'm trying to think. Out of all the plethora of anime that I watch, I'm thinking from the ring of mainstream, known and within the community, underrated, not talked about, and then like under. Oh, well then, yeah, I know what you're gonna put. There we go. I got my 9. All right, perfect. I had to think about it for a second. You rate ReZero? So here's the thing about ReZero. I only is not talking about no people don't. I wish people talked about Ladies versus Butlers was like such a fun series for me to watch. But growing up, what's it called? I got into anime, but I watched my, like, what's it called? One of my very first animes were Voltron. And then I started watching anime my own, and it was Squid Girl. And I love fucking Squid Girl. I love Squid Girl. People don't talk. People, there's a huge community for Heaven's Lost Property. Now, is there a community for ladies versus butlers? No. Even though, honestly, rewatching it nowadays, it's so good. It's so good. All right. Anything at the end? Did he make a video on Undead Unluck? Oh my god, please put Undead Unluck in there as well. Oh my god. I forgot about Undead Unluck. Oh my god, I love Undead Unluck. Oh wait, what the fuck? Oh wait, so I'm really at the end of the game, huh? Alright, yeah, we're good. I don't care. So, G Gundam, wait, what was it? So, Guilty Crown VV, Eyes, G Gundam, Heaven's Lost Property, Pluto, Maggie, Clown, Kingdom. Change Gundam Witch from Mercury to Undead Unluck. There you go.
Is my hope.
Mob Psycho. Gundam Witch from Mercury. I love Gundam Witch from Mercury, but God, I love. Yeah, we're gonna do this one.
This is it.
Yeah, I just saw Leon got his brains blasted. Yeah, let's try that again. What is this for? I'm interested in knowing. Give me recommendations? Me. I'm more of a romance-esque guy, so I'm a little different. Can't be as. See, who the fuck is that?
What are you doing, Grace?
Spencer regretted what he did.
Zero's got romance? Yeah, it does, but it's not the romance.
You promised.
Yes, that I would let him live.
Season 1 or
Mr. Kennedy.
Both seasons are good.
I give you the honor of experiencing my power firsthand.
I'm not sure Elpis is what you think it is. There's nothing special about me. I was never any king. Spencer wanted to make amends.
But you released Elpis. What is it?
Oh, it's a cure.
me.
It's a damn cure.
Leon!
Why? My powers!
Elpis is Spencer's atonement. It's an antiviral.
He's a fucking live? Oh my god, get him out. You forgot Blue Lock? Remember them reaction?
Amazing.
We don't care about Blue Lock here.
I am humbled by my master's genius.
Your research was wrong. Elpis wasn't a weapon. There was never a key.
Spencer's paper was obviously incomplete.
No, man, we don't care about Blue Lock.
Connection between Grace and Emily.
Do you know how much time and money I wasted on this?
Don't you see the genius? With Elpis, all virus-based weapons are useless. The world order will be thrown into chaos.
We wanted a weapon.
Bulls Fighter G Gundam, yes.
Gave us anarchy. I will carry his torch and bring his vision to life.
What the hell?
You and Spencer were a means to an end.
Yet he outwitted you all.
Spencer defied us and paid the price with his life. He was nothing.
You are nothing but an imitation.
It's over, Victor. The Connections is done with you.
Oh.
We can't let him have it.
You don't want to fucking... Like, what are you doing, Grace? You had all this time. All this time to do this.
Your ignorance is staggering.
It's a cure. Oh, it's working.
Oh, fucking finally.
Leon, it's working. Wake up.
Now, let it all come down. All of it.
What is bro talking about? What? Oh, so either way it gets destroyed. Bro, so either way, one just gets destroyed, like one that gets destroyed, and the other one I'm dealing with Victor McFucking. How is he alive? Bro. So you're telling me that, oh brother. So Sherry's just cooked. Like, she just can't get one now. What the fuck is that over there? Okay. And then now I gotta kill Victor. First thing I'm doing, I'm just gonna boom right between his head. Oh my gosh. This is insane. Thank you. Thank you.
Spencer's vision lives through me. And I will see.
Oh my god. I appreciate it. Holy Alex, I appreciate it.
How many more will have to
Okay. Alright, let's calm down. Oh my god. Can we not do this? So the final boss is really Victor. Oh my, just pissing me off, really. Ooh, yeah, there we go.
Sacrifices must be made.
Not to me. I swore that I'd always protect those lives.
Go now. What the fuck? What the hell is he doing? What? Okay. 8,000 for etchy bait. Does he have a... Okay, so I just ran into that. For peak sci-fi anime, what website did you even use? And also, what considered peak sci-fi? Because that's interesting. Oh my god. Bro's talking about ideas like he gives a damn. I'm almost fucking dead. I'm dead! Oh my god. Holy crap, I appreciate the 200 biddies. Why do bullets work against something like this? I'm telling you the exact... I am speaking... You're speaking my language, actually. Because it's Resident Evil. Did he just bomb fucking rush me? Get up. Do I even have anything? Oh, I do. Come on. So I have to sit there and take it, huh? Okay. Oh my gosh. Come on, guys. I'm right there. He's dead?
It's over.
Oh my god. There's not a second phase, is there? Venom recently gets beat by 50 out. That's it. Finally, Victor's fucking dead. Oh my god.
Good riddance.
For once, I agree with Leon. We're not doing this right. This thing's fucking gross.
Nemesis. You're so damn relentless.
I gotta fight this still? I appreciate another 50. Are you serious? I still do not have any. So I'm dead. Pretty much, I'm dead. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm dead. Yeah, go ahead and just. Yeah. Yeah. So I'm dead, pretty much. That's what I'm gathering for this. Oh hell no! Are you serious? Oh, Mad, thank you. Minis. All right, GG. Church time soon. All right, happy Easter. All right, happy Easter, Sir Alex. Holy shit, can I please? Oh my god. What the fuck? What generator could possibly be exploding right now? Are you serious? Okay. Is this it? Okay. Why did I do that? Oh, hell no. So pretty much, the final boss is me just playing fucking Toroharu. No one's gonna get that reference, and I feel sorry about it. Okay. Oh my days. You've got to be kidding me. Fuck. I'm sorry. Please. No data. Oh my god. Oh, so I'm still getting grabbed, huh? Come on. 50-year-old man, by the way. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Yep, make it happen, Leon. Yep, one. Oh my gosh. 50-year-old man refuses to die. It's gotta be over, right? Okay. Oh my gosh. Does Leon have aura? Oh, wait, okay. Mr. Badass. Ooh. Okay, that was pretty good. That was like a 7 out of 10 in the cool scale. Okay. It was pretty cool for that. That was kind of aura. I'll go to him. Yeah, where is Grace? Like, can I get some Elpis too?
Sherry,
Sherry!
Come in. Sherry.
Damn it, Sherry, where are you?
Grace. Grace, hang on. Grace.
Oh my gosh, she's alive, guys. Everyone's favorite girl. Leron.
We need to get you out of here. Come on. Let's get you out.
Oh, are we just cooked? Hey, Ada, if you want to come and save us. Who the hell does he hear?
There's no way out, is there?
Well, I'm not gonna leave your side.
Well,
I'm gonna sit right here with you.
oh, they're gonna get crushed? Man, that's fucking crazy. So it's really over. This is Leon. This is the end of Leon, huh? God, this is just insane. So this is just the end of Leon S. Kennedy, huh? Damn. That's messed up.
I guess this is it then.
Wow. So they just die? What the fuck? Who is this? Bro, who the fuck is this? Ethan Winters?
Leon S. Kennedy? Depends who's asking. Alpha, you read me, sir? Yeah, they're safe. I got him.
Who's this guy?
Mr. Kennedy. I have a message from Captain Redfield.
Chris? What the fuck? Chris Redfield? I can't, man. I can't. So you're telling me that Chris, this bastard, this hunk of meat, okay, has the audacity. Dude, just, oh my God, just everywhere where he does not need to be. Good Lord. All right.
I'll be damned. Can't believe that antiviral actually worked. Feel better than I have in ages.
Thank God. I'm glad you're okay.
Yeah, like he didn't die earlier.
We got a dose with your name on it. We'll be back in action in no time.
Thank you, Leon.
Aw.
Would have been a lot smoother if Chris hadn't been so late to the party.
Where is Chris, anyway?
No idea. I'm sure I'll run into him at some point.
Aw.
Yeah, I'll call you back.
Man, go to Raccoon City.
It's over then.
Find a key, and that was it.
Yeah.
Wow, I really beat the game.
Last hope.
Well, let's pray Umbrella hasn't left us any more nasty surprises.
I wish we could have saved Emily.
Grace, I didn't hit any of her vitals. She could still be alive.
What are you saying?
Maybe we can save her.
With Elpis? So we left the poor girl is still on the floor over there. Does no one remember that she's just convulsing, by the way? Like, she just was like, no, how could you wake up, Emily? Okay.
The government has confirmed the existence of an actively trading bioweapons lab located here in the ruins of Raccoon City. The origin point for the worldwide spread of bioorganic weapons. This illegal facility appears to have been in operation for decades.
Sources say that the extension of the lockdown and the recent series of mysterious deaths may be related to tragic events in Raccoon City 28 years ago.
Damn.
Evidence seized in Raccoon City has led the Justice Department to reopen its investigation into Oswald Spencer and the long-defunct Umbrella Corporation.
Damn.
Some believe the government deliberately drove Umbrella into bankruptcy.
The late Alyssa Ashcroft is credited with cracking the Oswald Spencer story.
Damn.
Conspiracy theorists are already claiming that she was killed in a cover-up.
Yeah, that's
The
true.
organization responsible is secretly controlling our government.
Tonight, in a speech from the Oval Office, the president is expected to reject allegations of any government involvement since the Raccoon City incident.
Insane. Oh yeah, I was gonna say, let's get the Victor's office, okay? So she is still alive. Wow, Resident Evil Requiem. Oh damn, so this is actually like the end credits. Like I did really get the bad ending. Wow. Guys, I've done it. I didn't think I was gonna be in the game tonight. That's crazy. Why was Victor the last boss? He was just so underwhelming. I was like, bastard, just die already. Just like, oh my god. Man. Chat, we've done it. Chat, we've done it. We've done it. We've done it. We've done it. Oh. Chat, we've done it. We've done it, chat. Actually, yeah. Damn. I thought it was crazy coming back. I kid you not. You know what? Honestly, this makes me want to play through the other games. Like, what the hell's the T-virus? What is that? You're gonna need a send-off? A goodbye message? Yeah. This is it. This is the end of the road, huh? It's been to think that this entire damn time, the one thing that they were looking for was a cure. Dude, whatever happened to those kids? Oh hell no, I completely forgot about those fucking little monsters. Yeah, see, you know what, me playing this at night might have been a bad idea. Dude, I completely forgot about the children, the kids. The kids. Oh, they were so creepy. No, I'll be honest, chat. Generally, that part of the game, I was actually creeped out. I was like, oh, hell no. Like, I think I was actively scared over there. I was like, what is this? Damn, we went through it like, we went through it kind of quickly. Grace's last section and then Leon's section. We started the game with Grace, we ended it with Leon. I honestly like I like the mix of the both styles. Like the horror elements and then like the action. I don't think it was done badly. So we like them. And of course, our founding father of the we love ourselves some Leon S. Kennedy. Gloria S. Kennedy. Oh wow, that is really nice. Chat, it's time for me to say goodbye. It's time. You know, the end of the era has come. We have crossed the finish line before I even thought we would. Tomorrow, say goodbye to the server that you guys all grew up with. Say goodbye to oh my gosh, you know what? Shout outs to everybody. Congratulations to everybody who was on this game. The end of the era is here. From now on, we are never playing another variety game. Unless I'm sponsored. And if I'm sponsored, that's a different story. But, no chat. honestly, I had fun. I did. These last 2 years playing like playing like all these games, watching you guys watch me, it was fun. It was. I'll be honest. I just, things are different now. I'm different. And I just want to say thank you guys for these last couple of years. I appreciate it so much as this music is getting even more dystopian. It's kind of weird. I'm very grateful to y'all. I really am. This music is not fucking helping. Can we stop? Jesus. Yeah, this is just creepy as fuck. Okay. Really grateful for you guys. We had all this triumphant music, really great stuff, and then we get here. The BSSA stuff, guys. Also, what were you looking at earlier, King? Like for the what's it called? For the point system. The fitting of the moment? Yeah, no, it's not. I just I do have to ask, what were you looking for? When you asked me for my top 9, what was that for? I'm curious to know. But then after that, I'm gonna say my piece, and then after that, I will head out. Look in DMs. I can only look at through DMs on my phone. Who added me? Oh. So you are gifted. You're the glitch in the root for the 10,000 aura for the G Gundam Absolute Cinema. What the hell? Come on, guys. Honestly, I think I have a lot of old and new in here. But the one thing that put me down was for Heaven's Lost Property. Gross. I might have to check that out. I really have to. Just gives you ownership to AK. That's insane. Actually, send me the website. Yeah, send me the link. I'll look into it. But yes, yeah, guys, you know what? I had fun. Honestly, tonight. Actually, I'll give you guys this. Tomorrow at 12 a.m. EST. On Sunday, Easter morning, I will delete the server. I'll let you guys have one more night. Because I wasn't expecting the game to be finished, so it's already 12. No. On Easter, at 12 o'clock Easter. It is Saturday. On Sunday, I'll delete it. I'll give you guys a little bit of time. We'll go through. The title we call it, just thank you. On Easter, not Eastern, yes. On Easter. That's exactly what we're gonna do. I will thank you guys. We will not go through the chat because that Discord needs to get wiped. And we will usher in the new era. Pintrap. I'd like to say thank you guys. Starting tomorrow, we are playing nothing but Nintendo games, and I might do live react, and I might do TikTok reactions. So, might get a little bit of mix of the both. Might get the mix. So, chat, I just want to say thank you. As of right now, for some odd reason, what's the new game for the era? I think it would be fitting to go back to the one game that I actually really fell in love with, that made me want to do all of this in the first place. Smash. It's time to smash our brothers again. What's the title of the new era? I think we're gonna go with The Route. The Era. The Nintendo-esque era. The normal era. The era that I should have been on. No, you just said that casually. What, for smashing my brothers? What's wrong with that? I didn't say anything wrong. Alright, I'm so hungry, chat. Oh my gosh. Well, I'm not hungry. I think my body's just processing food. Because a part of me is, but like a part of me isn't. So. The Route. The Route. The Route is happening. I am well, I'm actually curious, is there anything at the end of this? That'd be interesting. That would be a little weird. But I don't think there is. Do I think there's? No. Can you fast forward skip? I cannot. I have to wait. I have to wait. Like, I have to wait. Because, like, there's nothing I can do. But, chat, you know, I'm really grateful for you guys for joining me on this journey. For all the games we played, Elden Ring, Stellar Blade, Silent Hill F, Ghost of Tsushima, and many others that are not off the top of my head. Thank you for joining me for this 2-year journey. And we say goodbye to the one thing that made us roars. Variety Gaming has officially come to an end tonight. Thank you all for watching this beautiful, beautiful, beautiful moment. Oh, okay. All right. So there's something at the end of this. All right, I'm ready.
And Sherry's okay? Oh, good. I'm so glad. Emily, yeah, she's doing great.
Bro, her and this. Aw. Grace Ashcroft.
Where's that report?
Sorry. Leon, gotta go. Catch up soon.
I'm not gonna lie, her in this outfit's like killing me now. Aww. Emily's so happy. That makes me happy. I think, you know what? That honestly makes me happy to, like, end it on the era that we are. What bullshit do they have now? About to see Ada effing Wong.
Remaining BSAA forces have been neutralized. Retrieving the objective before they send in the wolves.
Who's this guy? Who's this guy? All right, 9 hours in. Grace's report. Hope and Requiem. And that's it, chat. Chat, thank you for coming to me on this wonderful adventure that I like to call my oh, actually it looks so much better that way. Actually, thank you for coming along with me to this very unique, exquisite game that we like to call Resident Evil. Let they hear the final puzzle, let the sweet pair hear the voice without using a blood collector. Oh, hell no. I'm just not. Complete the main story and within 4 hours? Good God. No. But yes, you know what, chat? I am going to leave this here. I hope you guys all enjoyed your unlocks infinite ammo. Oh, hell no. Don't let me have that. Unlocks infinite RPG ammo. That is a problem. Chat, and with that, we are ending the finale of the streams. Thank you guys. Thank you for these moments. Everything in between, and I just want to let you guys that I love you guys a lot. Hope you guys enjoy the server for the last time today. Because at 12 o'clock at midnight on Easter Sunday, it will be closing its doors for the final time. And with that, chat, I will be heading out. So, chat, for the last time, have a great rest of your day, night, and day, night, and afternoon. And I'll see you guys all next time for when we begin the new arc, the true route Night chat. I shall see you guys all later. Peace.